Today we have a very different but very fun and exciting video. Today we're going to be reacting to some toxic dating advice that people give on TikTok. Since I've been on a little relationship dating advice bandwagon lately with my posts on YouTube, I thought it would be fun to react to this type of thing. So let's just get right into it. We're going to just pick some random ones off TikTok and whatever they talk about, I'll just give my reaction to. Before we get into the video, have you subscribed to my channel yet? If not, I'll give you a few seconds to do that. It is the red button right below the video. Yeah, just click on that. Good. Now that that's done, let's get into the video. Video number one that we're going to watch. I just saved a bunch of videos, airdropped them to my computer, and let's go.
I really like you.
I like you too, Cassie.
I like you more. Ew.
Okay, so that's a quick one. That is basically, I feel like that just shows how much we all are used to being distracted, getting attention and validation, and clearly it's showing that a lot of people, when they break up, they immediately start trying to talk to somebody else just to distract themselves, when really all we need is time and healing and time to move on, or else you are a rebound, they're a rebound. And it just shows how emotionally unavailable people are after a breakup, and that she's just kind of grossed out by the thought of even talking to someone else. So I feel like that's like a joke, but not a joke at the same time. So that's my thought on that. Next. Oh my God. Why are people putting out this manipulative, toxic freaking advice? Like, make her think she's in the friend zone, so just confusing her and not, I guess, making any moves. Surround yourself with friends whenever you're around her, shows you don't really want to be intimate with her. Let her know you have options. And then post stories, but don't answer her messages. Oh gosh. And this woman is giving this advice to guys to go and treat women like this. Hashtag dating coach. Like, what? Women, if you run into a guy that is doing any of these, you know, this is toxic behavior. Just ask straight up, ask your questions, you be healthy, you be communicative, and if he can't do that, then you obviously know that you don't need to have that in your life. Next.
Just a little heads up, if you stop showing interest in a woman, the toxic ones will chase you. The good ones, they'll move on.
Agreed. I mean, when you stop showing interest in someone, for healthy people, that's a clear sign that they're not interested. Like in that movie, he's just not that into you. That one character that just keeps making excuses for the guy that's just not into her that way.
So trust me when I say, if a guy is treating you like he doesn't give a shit, he genuinely doesn't give a shit. No exceptions.
I completely agree with what she's saying. Toxic people will chase that type of behavior that is just, it's a clear sign, but they obviously can't see it, so they need to do some work. And the healthy people will just let it go. Okay, next.
Toxic? You think this is toxic? If you didn't like that, you're gonna hate my next series. We're fucking doing toxic tips. Here's tip number one. If you've already started talking to someone and you're not super serious about them, do this one thing. Keep talking to them at the same capacity that you have been, just change the time. For instance, week 1, you're talking to them pretty regularly and it starts at 10 a.m. Next week, you're gonna push that time back to 12:30. Then in week 3, you push it back to 1 p.m. But in week 4, we move it all the way up to 11 again. If you keep doing this, you can push the time back to maybe 10 p.m., 11 p.m. and then you guys can hook up and be a sneaky link. You can also change it to days. It works both ways.
I haven't even scratched the surface. Toxic advice dating. That's terrible. Why can't people just be straight up? If you're not interested in having a relationship, instead of doing all of these things where you're messing with the person's head, just say, I literally would just rather hook up right now in the season of my life. Like, people need to learn how to just be honest. Like, you just need to say what you want instead of doing all this toxic crap and toxic behavior. Like, that's terrible. You're slowly almost torturing somebody, like moving things back by hours or days to just completely mind fuck someone. Like, that is so bad. I can't believe this stuff is like the young generation is consuming this type of content. This is crazy. I have no words. Okay.
3 reasons you shouldn't text him first. Number 1, it's desperate and you know it. Because let's face it.
Because texting first conveys that someone's desperate. Okay, so if a man always texts first, does that mean that he's desperate? Yeah, it actually does. So let me tell you this. The kind of men that you're going to get that will do 100% of the pursuing and 100% of the work are going to be guys who are not attractive, and they're going to be guys with no options and low self-esteem. And let me tell you why that is. Because we're all humans here. If you, as someone with self-esteem, put forth 100% of the effort and did all the work up front and got nothing in return other than someone answering and being cordial, would you continue to pursue that dialogue? The answer is no, and I hope it's no. So here's what you do. It's pretty simple. If you want to talk to somebody, send them a text message. If they're interested in you, they're going to answer. If they don't answer you, move on because they're not interested. It's really not that hard. But don't expect someone else to do 100% of the work when you're not putting in any effort.
I completely agree with that. I think that a lot of women think that men should constantly be doing the courting. And I think that courting and trying to date a woman and be a romantic person and literally, try to date somebody, I think that courting is great. I think that that's awesome and that should be done. However, I don't think that men should be doing it 100% of the time. They also need to feel like that person wants to be with them. They also should be thanked for being, having taken that woman out on a date, paid for dinner or paid for the movie or brought them here or there or made them have like a great time. I think that this whole texting first thing, a lot of women really, really, really don't want to text first, but I think it's refreshing for men to receive a text. It's like as if you're giving a huge green light, like, yes, you can continue courting me. Yes, I had a great time at dinner and you did a great job. Like, guys need to get the signs too. It's not fair for the guys that have to do everything. They, are expected to pay for everything. They're expected to organize everything and make all of the plans. And yes, I agree that that's very romantic and like masculine of a guy to just handle everything, but I also think that the least we can do as women is show our interest by sending a text message. The least you can do is send a text message after the date thanking them for a great time or the date in general or their company or picking them up or paying for dinner, whatever it is. You can text the guy first. I think it shows confidence more than desperation. I think that it shows that you have communication skills, that you know what you want, that you're not shy. This is texting a guy in general first. This does not mean that you have to be initiating every conversation, nor does it mean that the guy should be initiating every conversation. I think a healthy balance is really great. That's my stance on that. And I agree with this guy. I think the other girl is a little wild. And I think there's a lot of pressure on guys for the dates, and I think the least women can do is send a message here or there or initiate a conversation.
How to make someone obsessed with you. Okay, listen. What I'm about to share is very manipulative, and I don't recommend you use it on just anyone. But if you want to know how, then watch till the end. A lot of people think that if you want someone to be obsessed, you need to play hard to get or ignore them, and that is false. What you actually need to do is send mixed signals. Because think about it. Whenever someone has sent you mixed signals, that's when you've started to psychoanalyze and figure out what went wrong, and that is when you get hooked. So how do you send mixed signals? Easy. You're gonna create pleasure and pain. Let's start with pleasure. Give this person attention, give them hope, let them get comfortable. Almost like they're in an ocean with unlimited supplies of water. Next up, pain. You're gonna take them from that ocean and drop them in the desert. Okay, no more water supply. In other words, no contact. Because that's when they're gonna get confused. And that's when they're gonna worry that they lost you. The less certain they are, the more obsessed they'll become. Tap that plus sign to follow for more.
Okay, first of all, just the line, how to make someone obsessed with you, is toxic to me. I don't want anyone obsessed with me, and I don't think you should either. I think you can like me or love me and, want to marry me, and that's healthy. I think obsession is not. Enforcing pain and pleasure Oh, goodness. Again, I come back to the thought of like, how is this content being put out? Like, this is so nuts. Uncontrollable obsession, manipulation, all of this is so toxic. If you think that this is at all a good idea, I think you have some work to do. I think that this girl has some work to do. I think that if you're a guy watching this and you think like, oh, that's so cool, oh, that's so true, I think you have work to do. I just think this is not good. Last one.
You had a great date over the weekend. It's Wednesday now and you haven't heard from him. What do?
You hold a funeral for him, so just go and get some nice flowers and maybe invite a friend over and just lay him to rest, because if he hasn't texted you from the weekend, from Saturday, and it's Wednesday, he's dead to us, and that's okay, you know, because there's another Brad or Chad right around the corner.
Okay, so I think this girl was like partly joking, but I think the other part of her was serious. Again, this comes back to the whole, you had a date with him on Saturday and you didn't message him, thank you for the date. If you're tripping like this and you're clearly trying to ask for advice, you had a great date over the weekend and he hasn't texted you, like clearly you're interested, right? So if it was great, why couldn't you message him that it was great and thank you for the great date? Maybe he just needed a little bit more of that certainty, or said, you know, I did all of this, I planned all of this, like, where's her manners to even, you know, be polite enough to thank me for the date? It's like when you go to someone's house, you bring something, no matter what they say you don't need to bring anything. The polite thing to do is bring something. When someone takes you out for dinner, friend, parents, whoever it is, afterward you thank them during, and then you should send them a message afterwards. That is being polite, in my opinion. So why, if you're interested in this guy, couldn't you send a message? And now neither you or him have spoken to each other and it's Wednesday. I feel like the girl is at fault just as much as the guy is, let's say, and maybe it's even less on the guy and it should have been more on the girl. He did all of this, now it's your turn. It should be a balance. It shouldn't be just you're here and you're just waiting for something all the time from the guy. Plan the date, take me out, and then like message me, call me, plan the next one. Like that's like courting to another level. I don't think that's even courting. So that's my thought on that. This was very interesting. If we can be more aware of what's actually going out there and maybe things to avoid or red flags, and if guys are watching this, if girls are doing certain things like this manipulative and pain pleasure type of situation, at least you could be aware. And ladies, I feel like this was a good video to encourage you to speak your mind, show when you're interested. This stereotype or the stigma around women being desperate if they message a guy, I think is crazy. When you're interested and you have some sort of relationship on it, or friendship or communication with this person, I think it is very much okay for you to show your interest by sending a text message. You're not proposing to him, you're sending a text. So that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. This was so much fun. And if you like this type of content, please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so that you get notified every time I post new content, and it'll keep you in the loop. So I will see you in the next one. Bye.